Many of us have a daily routine of devotion that includes scripture, reflective insight, and prayer. Over the years, I've used many resources for this, and recently I've been using a daily email from the Center for Action and Contemplation. For this week's Wonder of God Wednesday, I'd like to share one of these email devotions written by Franciscan priest and author Richard Rohr. It's called Leaving the Garden. The word innocent, from its Latin root, means not wounded. That's how we all start life. We're all innocent. It doesn't have anything to do with morally right or wrong. It has to do with not yet being wounded. We all start unwounded. We start innocent. But the killing of our holy innocence is an archetypal image of what eventually happens to all of us. And probably it has to happen for us to grow up. We have to leave the garden. This movement of leaving and returning, forward and back, it's the process of transformation. It's the way we increase the spaciousness of freedom in our lives so that we have the capacity for true relatedness. Jesus tells 3 parables about losing and finding: the lost sheep, the lost coin, and the lost son. In each case, we think we have it. We lose it and rediscover it, and then we throw a party. And the party only happens after the rediscovery because we don't really have it until we've lost it and choose it consciously again. That's the human journey, the movement from the first naivete or false innocence to the chosen and conscious freedom that God is calling us toward. The Christ child is the image of the unwounded one. Our inner Christ child is the part of us that is not wounded. In our own way, we each have to rediscover, honor, recognize, and own that inner Christ child. We may have lost the vision of innocence, but the Christ child is the part of us that always has said yes to God and always will. Jesus said, "I will not leave you orphaned." And faith is trusting an intrinsic union exists between us and God. To pray is to experience this union. The path of fall and return is how we experience this union as pure grace and free gift. There's a necessary movement between one's core and the core of God. The root of sin begins when we doubt, deny, or fail to experience this basic foundational connection. When we don't have some mirrors in our lives, family, friends, mentors, who remind us of our own goodness, it's very hard to believe in the bigger goodness of God. As I've come to say, we all need people in our lives who will remember and gently remind us of who we are when we forget and stop acting like it. We need at least an experiential glimpse of the goodness of God in us before we can begin to recognize and address the ways we try to find goodness on our own, separate from God. And I think the only and single purpose of religion is to lead us to an experience of the goodness of God in us, that is Christ in you, in us, the hope of glory. Every sacrament, every Bible reading, every church service, every song, every bit of priesthood, ceremony, or liturgy, as far as I'm concerned, says Richard Rohr, is to allow us to experience our truest self, who we are in God and who God is in us. May you know this day the goodness of God created and living in you.